Thank you for turning to page 121. Today we're going to take a look at the County of Urnst. This is an interesting little chunk of real estate in Greyhawk. It's formerly of the Great Kingdom. As the Great Kingdom broke up, Nyrond, which is right down here, broke away and then held what is now the County of Urnst, and the County of Urnst broke away and became its own thing. The reason County of Urnst is really interesting is because you have the Bandit Kingdoms to their north. You have all kinds of different unrest here because of the collapse of the Great Kingdom, the Neerdive right there, and then the Duchy of Urnst down to the south. So today we're going to take a look at the County of Urnst. What's going on with these guys? Well, we're going to be looking at the Atlas of the Flanus from the Ashes box set. There's the cover, the Atlas of the Flanus, and in fact the cover of the box set. Right there. And I'm using this because really Urnst wasn't that affected by the Greyhawk Wars, which was kind of neat. There we are. Urnst, County of. I have done many games in Urnst and had a lot of fun with it. So Urnst, County of. Ruler is Her Noble Brilliancy, Countess Belisica. Capital, Radagast City, population of 42,000. Radagast, of course, we named our cat Radagast. He's named actually for Radagast the Brown from Lord of the Rings, and I have a feeling that name came from there as well. Urnst separated from Nyrond soon after that state's succession from the Great Kingdom. Urnst has a history of hostility toward Erdi, which is the Great Kingdom, despite the Iridian origins of most of its people. The county is allied with and technically under the protection of the Duchy of Urnst, but the ruling House of Galor is independent and diplomatic, and the county rules its own affairs. Galor, interesting, is a character from the Gord the Rogue novels I'll go into in a bit. Relations between the two states are very close now that Ayuz threatens the borders of the county. The states have a mutual aid pact. And again, it's just south of the Bandit Kingdoms, and in this book, the Bandit Kingdoms were taken over entirely by Ayuz. They're just menaced by Ayuz in my world. Naval squadrons based at Radagast City patrol the Neerdiv in an informal agreement with those of Furiandi in order to secure this vital lake. The native population has been somewhat increased by an influx of Tenas, including the exiled Duke Aye and his family, and the Tenas, the Duke of Ten to the north. They were overrun in the Greyhawk Wars, who are not greatly liked by the indigenous folk, and also by Nyrondese artisans and scholars who are better received. Urnst did not suffer significant losses in the war, and the county and duchy are now important bankrollers for Nyrond. Politically, Urnst is very active these days. The Countess fully supports Duke Karl's diplomacy with Greyhawk and the Ulic states, while working hard to make sure that the latter in particular fully support the independence of her own nation. So a neat little free nation here, run by the Countess Belisica and the House of Galor. Galor is a character in the Gord the Rogue novels. Gord meets him in the Bandit Kingdoms in the first book, and Galor is, we think a thief at first, we learned later is a bard. And he is of the House of Galor and nobility, but he is doing what he has to do to help out the neutral forces of Greyhawk, and it's all part of the Greyhawk story. But Galor becomes one of the mentors to Gord the Rogue and helps Gord on his way to achieve basically saving the world after, well, you got to read the books. But in the first book, we meet Galor, and he features prominently in several of the books afterward. The second one, particularly, he's in it a lot, and it's an interesting character. But the County of Urnst, why do I care about this? Well, it's a great place to adventure. You've got the Neerdiv right here, the Duchy of Urnst down south, Nyrond over here, so you have a lot of kind of civilized areas. The Lake of Unknown Depths, of course, is always a bit of a mystery, and you've got the Bandit Kingdoms to the north. Even if they're not controlled by Ayuz, they are still not great neighbors. And the way I have done it is I've had players who were in Stoink, for instance, and they would come down to the County of Urnst for different reasons in the story, and it could be a lot of fun, and having the neighbors that they do to the north can be kind of interesting for your role-playing. The county of Urnst is basically kind of a neutral land. It's fairly well settled. So if you're looking for that campaign where you're in a kingdom that is, or county that is pretty well settled and pretty placid, but not completely devoid of any kind of encounters, this is a real good place to have it. And I stuck a cult of dragon worshippers in here for a while, and the players had to root it out. And I've done a number of stories in the county of Urnst, and a lot of them have led into going into up into the Bandit Kingdoms. You see the Charn Castles. It's a series of castles right along the river that keep the Artens May River, that keep the county itself free from raids from the Bandit Kingdoms and such. And you have White Plume Mountain, Rift Canyon over here, and all kinds of stuff. So there's a lot of good stuff within easy reach of County of Urnst. It's a great place if you're looking to start out a new campaign. And they are, of course, allied with the Duchy of Urnst, and not hostile with, but not allied with Nyrond over here. So it's a really good place if you're looking to do some empire building or some deep politics. This is a great untapped resource. There's not a ton written on this, which also leaves it as a blank slate for you, and you can go ahead and put in whatever you want. It can be a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun doing campaigns in there, and we'll continue to do so. If you're noticing anything around the near div, that's mostly where my campaigns have taken place. But that's all I've got to say today about the County of Urnst. Let me know what you think. Have you used the county for anything? Are they still under Nyrond in your campaign, or maybe subject to the Duchy? Let me know what you have done with these guys in the comments below. Please also like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Let's keep growing the channel. Take a look at the Patreon, see if you can help me out there. And that's all I've got today on page 121. Thank you for your time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.